How's it guys, this is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video, I'll be taking you guys through my very own transfer plan for the upcoming Game Week 7. So Game Week 6 has concluded, the games ended yesterday on Sunday. I'm recording this on Monday as it is a public holiday here in SA, so you guys will be getting the latest news as possible. Now Game Week 6 was quite an interesting one. We used 2 free transfers. Let's see if those pay off in our team review that I was starting this video off on. Then as always, I'll turn the attention to the upcoming Game Week 7, take a quick look at the team selection with no transfers made before taking you guys through my actual transfer plan. So if that's something that you guys are interested in, sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So going over Game Week 6, as mentioned, a pretty interesting game week for myself. It was actually a pretty bad one. We almost doubled the rank and we're sitting just about the 1 million mark. So that was thanks to 68 points scored, an overall game week rank of 5.1 million, but luckily we have 1 transfer and a massive 2.7 left in the bank. Now after all the Saturday games, we were sitting at a very nice green arrow. All my players ended up returning on Saturday, so I was sitting pretty nicely. Then what happens? Sunday comes, Mo Salah scores, Son and Maddison score against Arsenal. Wasn't really predicting that. And all my options on Sunday ended up blanking. So that's why you guys should never kind of check your rank midweek, because on Saturday it was looking pretty nicely, and then on Sunday suddenly it's doubled. But not too bad in terms of the overall rank. I definitely will take the start, but let's just hope for some more greens coming up. But in the comments down below, let me know how your guys' game week was. Probably was going to be better than myself. How many points did you guys end on, and where are you sitting in the overall ranks? Now I did actually end up using 2 free transfers. I'll take you guys through those transfers as we speak about them. But thanks to all of you that were in the deadline stream on Saturday. But let's go over where those 68 points came from. They weren't going to come from our bench, but the bench was pretty bad this game week, which usually means I made the right benching decisions. However, in Game Week 6, pretty much kind of picks itself. We have Turner, who got 1 point against Man City, the best attack in the Prem at the moment. So I was kind of just hoping that my starting goalkeeper did feature, because I didn't want to play Turner against his Man City side. However, he only conceded 2 goals to them. That was thanks though to a Rodri red card that came about the 50th minute, but he was kind of containing them at least for the opening half. The next 2 options, Archer and Baldock, it was actually quite good that Baldock was injured for this fixture, as Sheffield United ended up losing 8-0 to Newcastle. So a couple minus points for every 2 goals conceded would have been for Baldock, but as mentioned, currently out with an injury. Then we had Archer obviously didn't score in that 8-0 loss, overall pretty quiet afternoon from him. Then finally, Udogie did actually play in this Arsenal game, but he conceded 2 goals and also got a yellow card, and that's why he's on 0 points. So as mentioned, the bench pretty much this week was non-existent, but at least we made some good benching decisions. But let's go into the starting 11, and luckily our starting goalkeeper did feature. It was Johnston from Crystal Palace, racked up a few save points as well as a bonus point, taking him to overall 8. And in the same fixture, it was 0-0. Leno also got 10 points, which I don't really understand because Johnston got more saves than him. But maybe he got more bonus points for some accurate passes, that sort of thing. But Johnston did make 5 saves compared to Leno's 3. But at the end of the day, I was just happy that he was featuring in this game because I didn't want to play Turner against Man City, so 8 points is just kind of the cherry on top. Now let's go into completing our defensive department. The first defender to talk about is going to be Ben Chilwell. Pretty much one of the biggest disappointments of the game week was when Ben Chilwell was benched yet again. Don't you know what he's done to Pochettino? Now I get the debate about him kind of getting forward, but just tell Ben Chilwell to not get forward then. But maybe he has already and Chilwell's just simply not listening. But what ends up happening, Gusto gets a red card in that fixture. Chilwell subbed on to complete the defense. Chelsea end up conceding, he also gets a yellow card and therefore ends on 0 points for the second game week in a row. It's a very kind of big dilemma at the moment. Should have probably been a transfer out before Game Week 6, and I'll talk about what I'm going to do with them before Game Week 7. Then one of the transfers in for this game week was going to be Saliba out for Botman from Newcastle. Now we could have gone for Kieran Trippier, obviously would have been the better move as he racked up a hattie of assists. But at least Botman did get the goal, didn't get any bonus points though, so ended on 12 points, which is a great score as well. Now as you guys know, they won 8-0 in this game. If you guys had Dan Burn, you would have got a goal, had Kieran Trippier got a hattie of assists. Botman got a goal, Fabian Schär was the only one not getting an attacking return. So kind of a massive game there if you guys did double up or even triple up on that Newcastle defense. And Chilwell to Trippier definitely looks like the better move that I should have done. Now quite interesting debate will be the kind of Botman versus Trippier over the next couple of game weeks. Obviously went for Botman, the cheaper option, 12 points is massive for a 4.5. But was Trippier the better option at the more expensive price tag? I guess we'll see over the upcoming game weeks. But just super happy I did this move. Obviously Saliba conceded 2 goals. So massive points gained in Game Week 6. And the final defender to go over is going to be a Stupinan from Brighton. Ended up starting the fixture. Yes, they conceded, but he got an assist. And he's going to end on 6 points. Now the only downside was that he assisted a Matoma goal. As you guys know, we don't own Matoma in our midfield department, and he is quite highly owned amongst the FPL managers. So there was a good side and a bad side with the assist, but it was a Matoma goal, but I'll take those points at the end of the day. But overall, a better game week for our defenders. Game week 4, game week 5 was simply terrible. It was only Ben Chilwell that let us down. I'm going to start off with the bad side of our midfield department first. I'm going to talk about him. Bruno racked up a yellow card and a blank against Everton, and this was actually a home fixture as well. It's very kind of surprising that he ended up blanking in this game, had a few chances but overall wasn't too attacking, and even though he is cheap, I was expecting more against a poor Everton side. I don't really know what happened in this game for Mbeumo. Maybe it was because he was playing kind of too wide out. Maybe that was the strategy that the manager wanted him to play, but he wasn't getting as much goal threat as I would have liked. Another player that had a lack of goal threat but at least had one big chance missed was me, Sterling, in game week 6. So Sterling ended up on 2 points, no yellow card for him, but unfortunately the Gusto red card simply eliminated any attacking threat. But there were 1 or 2 chances that he could have had in that fixture. So yet another disappointing game week, and it seems like the Chelsea assets simply hate me at the moment. I'm growing a strong dislike for that Chelsea team. Ben Chilwell, Nicholas Jackson, Sterling, all have ruined my FPL season this far, and that's why I might finally get rid of him for game week 7. Just don't really know what's kind of hit Chelsea at the moment. They started the season off pretty decently, but have had a massive downward trajectory, and they're simply looking terrible at the moment. So definitely an asset that I'm looking to transfer out, but will I actually before some good fixtures? I guess you guys will see in the transfer plan coming up shortly. But because we went over the bad side, let's go over the good side now. Bukayo Saka got an assist for an own goal as well as a penalty in the North London draw to Spurs. So massive kind of performance, 13 points is very decent, also racked up a few bonus points as well. Very kind of popular option though at the moment. His effective ownership is still pretty decent, but a big question mark about are we going to keep him with some harder fixtures coming up for Arsenal. But at the current moment, the thoughts aren't there because the fixtures have turned for game week 7, and you guys will see that as well. Then the final 2 assets to go over in our midfield department, a pretty decent performance from Bruno, a massive 10 points after scoring the only goal against Burnley. Now I was quite disappointed there was only 1 goal in this fixture, thought that United would have scored a few more and therefore Rashford would have been involved. But once again, can't get kind of returns from both of them. It's either Rashford scoring and Bruno blanking, or vice versa like this game week. Bruno is quite the differential though, so I was happy with some points from him, but would have loved some Rashford points as well. Then the final 2 assets going over our forward department is going to be Erling Haaland with 12 points, only the 1 goal against Nottingham Forest, but just remember, Rodri did get the red card, so the attack was pretty stunted after going down to 10 men. So if you guys did go for any one differential, outscored Haaland pretty decently, as a few midfielder options got massive hauls this game week. But still, his effective ownership was super high. I mean, if you're not going to captain Erling Haaland against Nottingham Forest at home, when are you going to captain him? So the gains weren't even there if he actually ended up hauling. The unlucky transfer though was going to be Alvarez in for Nicholas Jackson. Both ended up kind of matching each other 1 point to 1 point, but Alvarez did have a lot of XG in that game. So the stats did look pretty decent for Alvarez in that fixture, but as mentioned, Rodri got a red card in about the 50th minute, so the attack was pretty depleted after that. This was even more true for Alvarez because he was the player that was subbed off after that red card, so would have really loved that the red card didn't happen. He got more minutes in that fixture and probably would have ended up returning. But we can't really predict red cards at the end of the day, so I've seen too many people kind of outcome base this. I still think this transfer was worth it because Nicholas Jackson obviously got suspended and will miss game week 7. But as you guys can see, a total of 68 points scored for game week 6. Quite a big red arrow to 1 million places. Let me know how your guys' game week went, where you guys sitting in the overall ranks. Let's see how my team's setting up for game week 7. So going on to my game week 7 team selection with no transfers made, I always like to give you guys the context before I talk about the moves, so you guys will see my current bust team. Now just a reminder here, we do have 1 free transfer and 2.7 in the bank, so quite a big upgrade can be made if you want to do it. Now the bench this week pretty much kind of picks itself. We have Johnston who's going to be on the bench this game week because I do own United attackers, but I could always play him and hope he gets some save points. Otherwise I'll be benching Archer and Baldock after their pretty bad performance against Newcastle, but they could always come off if I do need them. Then also we'll be benching Udogie against Liverpool at home. Now the only reason I'm doing this is that yes, he offers that attacking threat, but Liverpool at the moment have scored in basically every game, so I do think Spurs will concede in this fixture. Because I'm benching Johnston, I'll be going for Turner between the sticks, Brentford at home. Only reason I'm doing this is that I feel like Nottingham Forest are a pretty decent defense at the moment, and I do own less Brentford attackers than I do United ones. So I'm simply kind of playing the odds here, hoping my United attackers do pretty well, and then if Mbeumo blanks, I won't be too disappointed. Now I might not even have this luxury because both my goalkeepers might be dropped. We have Dean Henderson for Crystal Palace, we have the new signing for Nottingham Forest, so I'm always hoping that one of them does start. Then our defensive department, yes, Ben Chilwell at the moment will be playing if I do keep him. Here's Fulham away, great fixture on paper, and the Gusto red card might mean that Ben Chilwell is back in the starting 11. If he is going to be back in the starting 11, great fixture on paper. We saw Fulham not score in Game Week 6. I do believe Chelsea can keep a clean sheet, and obviously Ben Chilwell might offer some attacking threat if Poch lets him. Then obviously Botman, the new signing against Burnley at home, great fixture on paper. I wish I owned more kind of Newcastle defenders, as this might be a repeat of Game Week 6 for Newcastle. So yes, I might be a little bit vulnerable to only owning one Newcastle defender. We might change that in the transfer plan coming up. We then have a Stupinan, probably the worst fixture on the cards here. Aston Villa away is a terrible one, as they have been attacking pretty well at the moment. But I guess he does offer some attacking threat, as you guys would have seen in Game Week 6. Got an assist and ended up basically with the clean sheet points. So I'm fine playing him at the moment, but if I do make a defensive transfer, could always bench him if I do choose to upgrade a Baldock or an Udogie. Overall, the defense doesn't look too shabby. Our goalkeepers don't have great fixtures, but could get some save points, as long as they do match the popular Pickford. The moving into our midfield department, we have some pretty decent fixtures. The United assets have Crystal Palace at home. That's the reason I'm benching Johnston, as I do own Rashford and also Bruno. So yes, I am keeping the faith for another game week. You swear I was a United supporter because of this FPL season. I'm just hoping they get me some FPL points. We then have Saka against Bournemouth away. Great game on paper. I expect him to return pretty decently. And then Mbuma also has Nottingham Forest away. So big game here for Brentford. I hope they rebound after this loss to Everton. They really do need it. But Nottingham Forest aren't the worst defense in the Prem. The final option, the very kind of eyesore in a midfield department, is going to be Raheem Sterling. Fulham away. I mean, this fixture on the cards looks pretty decent. And maybe Sterling could be playing up front with Nicholas Jackson's suspension. So at the moment, I'm just hoping for returns because the patience has been there. But would you guys keep Sterling even though it's a nice fixture? Then up front, we got the Man City duo of Haaland and Alvarez. Both players should feature in this game, I do believe so. And I expect Alvarez to finally repay that transfer in. So no complaints about our two strikers. The Cam C will be on Erling Haaland at the moment. But we could change that if we go for a double game week player. So if you guys don't know, Burnley and Luton both have a double game week. The Luton one is definitely better. They've got some great fixtures in Game Week 7. So we could always look at bringing one of their players in and capsing them. But at the moment, with no transfers made, this is going to be my starting 11. On paper, I don't think it looks too bad as long as Ben Chilwell starts and Sterling gets returns. But as you guys know, they've been simply terrible in these last couple of game weeks. So this was your team. What transfers would you guys make for the upcoming Game Week 7? And in your own personal teams, what transfers are you guys also making? Now before we go over the transfer plan, I want to give you guys a reminder there are midweek fixtures. The League Cup has returned for the next round and a few Prem teams are actually featuring. So these games will happen on Tuesday and Wednesday, so if you guys want to wait for those transfers to be made till after that, that might be advised as there might always be injuries in those fixtures. But a lot of price movements are going to be happening from now till Wednesday, so if you guys have exact money, I would probably do those moves before that. The only reason I'm saying that is that there'll probably be some heavy rotation in these midweek games, as it is still pretty early in this kind of League Cup competition. But I just want to give you guys a reminder about this if you guys didn't know about it. Now let's head on to the actual transfers. So my transfer plan this week offers some kind of options from banking the transfer to take a -4 hit, and you guys will see that in these upcoming moves. So the first move, as spoken about, I could always bank a transfer if I have faith in kind of Ben Chilwell starting against Fulham away. I might just keep him in my squad, but if I have lost the faith in Chelsea, it might be Sterling out or Ben Chilwell out. So let's talk about that first move, and the first kind of problem at the moment is Ben Chilwell, a kind of very big problem in our defensive department because our other bench options aren't that great. So this might be the week we actually take him out. Now my only kind of caution about taking him out is that Chelsea do have two nice fixtures. Fulham away, Burnley away looks simply outstanding, but at the moment Chelsea can't beat anyone. So if we do get maybe positive news in the press conference for Ben Chilwell, if Poch maybe says because of the Gusto red card Ben Chilwell has to play, then I might just keep him for the next two. But if I do choose to take him out, there's only one player on my mind at the moment. It's Kieran Trippier. I should have brought him in for Game Week 6. I'm going to do it for Game Week 7, as Newcastle's fixtures still look pretty decent. Especially the next one coming up in Game Week 7, that's why I don't want to miss it. It's Burnley at home, great game on paper, almost a locked-in clean sheet. And I do believe that Newcastle will rotate against Man City in this midweek. So just a reminder there, the midweek games as well, Man City are facing Newcastle. That's a very tough draw for Newcastle at the moment, and that's why I do expect Eddie Howe to maybe rotate the squad. But because Kieran Trippier rose in price last night, I'll just simply be keeping this transfer for after that game, and just hope there's no price drops or price rises in this transfer. Other replacements, I could always go for a Fabian Schär if I want to go for someone cheaper, but I do still like Kieran Trippier, and he showed great attacking threat on the weekend. Now keeping the theme of Chelsea, another problem in our midfield department is going to be Raheem Sterling at the moment. Now he is getting a few chances from an attacking point of view, so he might not be the worst hold, and they do face Fulham and Burnley in the next two. But if I do choose to take him out, there is kind of two options I could look at. It's going to be Son or Maddison at the moment. I'm going to be going for Heung-min Son because these are more expensive options, so in terms of a transfer plan, you guys know I can afford both. Now you guys would have seen Spurs on the weekend scoring 2 goals against Arsenal, a pretty decent defense, and then they faced Liverpool, Luton and then Fulham. So come game week 8, I probably will own at least one midfielder, so I might bring that transfer one game week up, and it will be to replace the poor performances of Sterling, who's been pretty terrible. Now I do consider this move to be more of a luxury. I do believe Chelsea can do quite well in the next 2 fixtures, and Sterling's guaranteed to play both games. But once again, just check midweek. If Sterling has a good performance in the League Cup, that might give me more faith to keep him, but I might be clutching on straws for this one. Now my last transfer to talk about is me taking advantage of the double game week coming up, and that's obviously going to be for Morris, as he's the best option. So the Luton striker has Burnley at home and Everton away, 2 great games on paper. Then in game week 9 also has Nottingham Forest away, so might not be the worst hold for those future game weeks. Now a replacement to go for could be an Archer. I could always upgrade Archer, but then I'm landed with a pretty stacked bench, so I might actually go for an Alvarez in and out replacement because I brought him in last game week. Now would I do this move? I don't really expect to. I don't think I'll do this move unless I want to captain Morris, and over Erling Haaland, that's quite a close debate. So this move is probably the kind of most unrealistic move, but if I want to take advantage of a double game week and captain a double game week player, this would be the move that I could go for. But once again, a reminder, I could always go for kind of an Archer upgrade, but then who would you bench out of my midfield? Probably Mbumo. So that's why I don't really want to do that 8th kind of attacker move, and taking Alvarez out might be quite a hard decision. So if you were to ask me what my transfer plan will most likely be, I think the most likely move that I will do will be the Chilwell to Trippier move, but I almost think I should have probably done that last night if I wanted to do it before the price drops and price rises. So I might be leaning towards actually banking a transfer for this week, taking 2 free transfers into next week, but it will take quite a lot to keep these Chelsea assets for game week 7. So what transfer do you think I should make for game week 7? Do you think I should make 1 move, 2 moves, or bank the transfer? And what moves are you guys making for your own teams? But this is basically a wrap up for you guys. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Please don't forget to like if you did and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. I'll be seeing you guys for tons of content coming up, probably a wildcard draft tomorrow, the ultimate guide for double game week 27, and the team selection late in the week. Make sure those notifications are turned on so you guys get notified when I do release those videos. But I'm signing off. It's been Dayvy FPL and I'm out. Cheers, bye.